the PA district tournament, and it's been a blast so far. How you doing so far at this tournament?
Yeah, doing good. I've had 3 matches. It's been fun. Pennsylvania wrestling, first of all, is tough, right? And even at the district level, you got guys that are really good, and they put a lot of time into this. Pennsylvania's, in my opinion, the best wrestling state in the country, so you got to buckle up, even for the districts. And I have 3 matches so far, and I think combined 41 seconds, but it's been fun. Wrestling hard and excited for the finals.
Do you keep up with that stuff? Like, you just told me how much time you've been on the mat. Is that always something you're keeping up with?
Yeah, I think so. I think if I'm trying to go for like pins, definitely. But I try to wrestle at a really high pace, really a lot of attacks pretty often. So I'm one of those people. I wrestle at a high pace from the start to the finish, and if I can end it early, like I normally try to, as much as I can. And it just so happened that I've been able to lock up some pretty tight stuff and get quick pins for the team.
Awesome. I like the shirt, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Can you talk about your recent commitment to the University of Iowa?
Yeah, so I mean, this for me was one of the biggest decisions of my life. First of all, I have to put that out there, and it was really tough. It took 6-7 months of going through the process. I visited 7 schools, and I had nothing but respect for all those schools and the people that were considering me. And so it was a really fun process, really stressful at times and tough. But I believe that God led me this way, and I think that I've been brought up on just the mentality that's very similar to the Iowa Hawkeyes. So really excited to represent them, the way they live, the way they wrestle, and just become better in all phases.
The graphic, where the inspiration of putting all the schools on it, where did that come from?
Yeah, so, well, from a young age, I've wanted to do things different and try to do things that nobody's ever done in a way to grow the sport, make this place better, right? Because I love wrestling. This is my true love, but it's just one thing just to wrestle and do it, but it's another thing to do wrestling because you want to change the sport, make it a better place. And so that's what I've been doing since I can remember, and the graphic for me was a way to do that. And I think it started with over like 70 schools, and it was pretty crazy. And cutting it down was tough, but I have nothing but respect for all of those schools. And I think that really people tuning in every week, and I think a lot of people really got behind that, and it was cool because nobody's ever really done it that way. And so I could be the first to do that, and it was a really fun process. The graphics were fun to make. The first one took a lot of time, and then after that, it was a little bit easier, just not having as many schools. But it was a really fun process that I kind of went through with my family, and it all led to the Hawks.
How do you deal with all the online hate of people being like, hey, I want to know now?
Yeah. Well, I did see it, right? And I think a lot of people get behind it, and it got a lot of buzz and a lot of views every single week, and that's great. It's a good thing to be able to do that and get wrestling on the map. You always have the people that, no matter what you do, they'll have something to say, maybe negative. And so I think that those people, for them, I think I just got to keep doing things right, being a good person, being the best wrestler I can be, and they'll soon realize that it was only for the greater good. And those people, you can't worry about those people. Worry about the 95% that are behind it, that appreciate it, and that love it. And just keep doing the right things and representing the Lord, and those people will find out.
Yeah, and I, yesterday talking with you, I was like, man, this is such a nice kid. And then I was thinking about, the comments I see online, and I was like, man, it kind of makes me want to be like, tell all the haters, be like, yo, chill, this guy is a wonderful kid, and your parents must be really proud.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think that they always told me from a young age I would rather be a great person than a good wrestler. So I've taken that to heart, and I want to be a better person than I am wrestler every single day of my life.
So the decision to go to Iowa, you're Spencer Lee. Just what does it really mean for you to be a Hawkeye? There's so much, history there. Penn State now is, the top dog. What is your mindset when you're going to be at Iowa?
Right. Well, wherever you go in Pennsylvania, you see Penn State logos, and so Penn State's like, they're the best right now, especially for wrestling, over the last 10 plus years. And so, I've been training there a lot. I've been really exposed to the Penn State room. But one thing that not a lot of people knew about me was Iowa was kind of my dream since I was young. I kept it kind of hidden, kept it kind of low, but my role models, a lot of them were tied in with Iowa. My coach growing up, he went to Iowa. And I think for me, I just love the way, their mentality, the way that they, try to outwork everyone. They represent the right things. And, it wasn't the easy decision, but it was the right decision.
I might get this wrong, but machine gun mindset, right?
That's right.
Okay. What is that?
Yeah, so that was a hashtag that I used when I first started trying to brand myself, and people loved it. And I think it really just describes the way that I try to wrestle. Machine gun shoots extremely fast. It's automatic, right? So I'm trying to take as many attacks, give myself a lot of scoring opportunities early and often. And that's what it represents for me. I've been using that hashtag for a really long time, and now it's become kind of like a, I don't know, something that people like recognize and they get behind. So it's been fun.
You talked about branding. You're popular on social media. Can you just talk about, the game of social media and how you brand yourself?
Yeah. Well, I started it when I first got into high school, really. And I think that my hobbies really is being able to post wrestling content or make the wrestling world a better place, grow the sport, grow my brand. And so when I'm not wrestling, I'm probably creating content or filming or getting ready for the next seminar or getting ready to make another post. I think for me, it ties in hand with the hard work and the process. And so when I make sure that I'm doing that, I got to make sure I'm working hard and putting the work behind it. But that came about when me and my dad went all in on the sport and we went all in on the branding.
Was it ever like maybe a distraction and you had to like hold back a little bit, or how do you deal with like managing, competing, and doing content?
Right. I think it makes me better, to be honest with you, because then my mind's always kind of locked in on it, and that's a little bit more of a relaxed way than when I'm training, right, and trying to be the best person and best version of myself in the room. So I think for me that goes hand in hand. It makes me better, holds me accountable, and I make sure that I use my time wisely. Helps me with my time management a lot, and so yeah, I think they go hand in hand with each other and just complement, make each other better.
What are your goals in wrestling?
Yeah, well, I have personal goals. So my personal goals, right, is win an Olympic title, win a world title, and go down as one of the best ever. Like, that's one of my personal goals, and go to Iowa and dominate and try to change that place. But I think ultimately my goals is to win as a team, is to change the program of Iowa. It's just to make it even better, really, just to keep adding to what they already have. My goal is to change the sport, put it on the map, right, and get it up there with the other sports and popularity and views. And we're doing a really good job and taking a lot of good steps in that direction. I think my main goal is follow the Lord and see what His plan is for me. Be joyful, win, lose, or draw, and just row the boat absolutely as hard as I can. I think it's just work hard and trust God.
Do you think wrestling will ever be a mainstream sport?
I that's the goal, right, and that's the plan, and that's what we're working towards, and I think it will. I truly do. I think if we can start to change the way that people wrestle and the styles, I think it's definitely possible. People are going to be really excited to watch it, and we're having a lot of really young, exciting wrestlers that are starting to get the viewers excited about watching wrestling, and that's something we got to do.
What do you feel about the recent changes in college wrestling, like the 3-point takedown and 4-point near fall, all that?
I think it was huge. I think it promotes scoring points, promotes action, and that's what we need more of. We need more action, more scoring points, therefore people want to watch that. And when we can sell out these big arenas like we're doing, especially this year, we're setting attendance records every week, that's what we need to do. That's what we got to keep doing, keep having fun, exciting wrestling and styles.
Is there anything you would change to folk style, like maybe adding push-out?
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I do like that role. I think that, being the only country in the world that wrestles just folk style, it's a little bit different because everybody else in the world might have their version of folk style, but a lot of them are straight freestyle and Greco. So it's an interesting way that we do this, because I think a lot of wrestling fans are more just folk style, and then you've got the diehards that watch folk style, freestyle, and Greco. But I don't think there's really anything that I would change. Maybe try to make it a little bit more like freestyle to keep helping us develop on the world scene, but I think it's really pretty solid right now. I think the rule changes with the scoring points, 3-point takedowns, 4-point backs is huge. I think if we can keep going in that direction and promoting that action, I think that would be a step in the right direction every time.
Can you talk about your faith?
Yeah. My faith is my everything, right? And I think that over the last year, it's kind of been a lot bigger than it ever was. The last 3 or 4 years, I've been a pretty hard Christian, and I got that when I went to the Olympic Training Center for the first time. So it was at one of my all-time highs, which is crazy. It's a little bit different of like a story, but I went to my first ever Bible study, and Kyle Snyder was there, and JB was there. List goes on and on. All the biggest guys, and they were I was absolutely in awe of those guys. I got invited because I made a world team. I was like 15 years old at the time. So I flew out to Colorado Springs by myself and went to this Bible study because all my role models were, and I didn't really know what it was going to do to my life, but that changed my life. From that day on, God was the center, and when you've God at the center, your life looks a lot different than it did before. And so recently I've been reading the Bible a lot with my team. We're doing Bible in a year, some of the guys. And I just think that it's really transitioned my life. Going to church every single Sunday, talking about it with my family being all in as well, being able to convert them, and being able to convert really my high school team. We're all doing a really good job with our faith and putting in the work, not only in the room, but in the Bible and in prayer and with God. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities in what's going on in our lives that we can find in the Bible. And I think I find a lot of peace in that. I don't think that there's as many coincidences that are happening in my life right now without God. I believe that those are all signs, and I think that God put me where I'm at here, going to Iowa, and God put me in this situation to be at Bishop McCourt. He's done a lot for my life. I'm extremely blessed. I can't stress that enough. To all the young kids out there that are listening that maybe don't have him at the center, I would reach out. I would talk to anyone about it. It would change your life. I can assure you that.
That tattoo you have, can you show me?
Fire, yeah.
When'd you get that?
Yeah, I got that a couple months ago, right before the season. And so it was something that I wanted for a while, and I said, all right, well, I've got Worlds, I've got Who's Number One, and then Super 32. So I was like, I can't do it now. So I did it right after that. And I think that it was really something that I wanted. So I'm glad I did it. I'm going to probably add soon, but it's just tough to do it when you're wrestling all the time. It's just tough, just so much going on. But I got this tattoo. I was really excited about it. But yeah, all the way up and down the arm. 4-hour session, first ever one. I went big. And a lot of the guys on the team now have tattoos. It's becoming more popular. And if you're putting your faith and things that mean something to you, my one teammate has family, and then Jax has Bible verses. I think that that's meaningful, and yeah, I like them a lot.
Are you going to get another one?
I think so. I think I'm going to. Something with my family, maybe last name or a B or something. I just, I want to represent my family and have a lot of pride and faith in that. And yeah, I'm excited to keep adding on. I think it's got to be one of those things you got to be sure though. And right now, I'm not sure. So I got to wait until I'm sure, until I know. And then, yeah, I'm gonna probably make another appointment.
What do you think about the people that get USA Wrestling tattoo?
Yeah, it's interesting. They'll get it, and they get it like with the color, with the red, white, and blue, and that's diehard. That is committed.
Did you do it?
I mean, maybe in the future, but probably not right now. I think someone asked me, they're like, well, when are you gonna get like a Hawkeye? And I'm like, dude, I'm not even there yet. Like, listen, you gotta be sure that you want to get this, because those don't go away. So, yeah, I think it's gotta mean something to you, and you gotta have a lot of, faith in the fact that this is what you want to believe in the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and maybe someday when we're out of college, wrestle 4 or 5 years, and then 10 plus years after that at Iowa, maybe we'll get the Hawkeye then, and the USA Wrestling tattoo once we're retired. But I think we're gonna wait until after that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the support you get from your parents? I know your dad is a coach, but I saw a recent video. You talked a lot about your mom and how she plays a big part. Mm-hmm. Can you just talk about both of them and how they both help you in different ways?
If I didn't have my dad, I wouldn't be here. And if I didn't have my mom, I wouldn't be here. They're so supportive of me. They're the best. They truly help me in countless ways. My dad's been my man. He travels the world with me, goes on every trip. He's my main coach. He's one of my teachers at school. I'm with him all the time. And so he's been a big mentor for me, role model, inspiration, and obviously he helps me a lot in my wrestling. And so he's the man. And then, obviously my mom as well. She's the best wrestling mom in the world. She takes really good care of me and my brothers. She does a great job. She supports us. And, whatever we need, my mom makes sure she gets it done. So I wouldn't be here without both of them. And I could throw shout outs to a lot of people. I'll throw a shout out also to my uncle. He's the man. He's with us every single step of the way. He's on our staff. He helps with our strength, helps with wrestling. So, just shout outs to all those people. They're amazing. Goes the same with my grandparents. I have a lot of amazing blessings, a lot of great people in my life.
NIL, what's your perspective on that? What are some brands you would like to work with?
Yeah, my perspective on that is I think it's only making wrestling better, bigger, better place. I think it's awesome. I think if you can use people to market, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Use people as brands for organizations. So for me, I work with Rudis, obviously, is probably one of my bigger ones. And then I've been working with a lot of other companies, and it's been fun. It's been fun to connect with really high-level organizations and brands and be on the same team as Kyle Snyder and Spencer Lee as far as with Rudis. And maybe some places that I'd like to work with is Sheets. Sheets replied to our tweet, so we're really excited about that. But I think just like places that believe in the same thing as me. and just really excited to keep seeing what doors open, what organizations pop out. And I think just for me, it's just keep representing the right things, working hard, and I assume and hope that those deals and those blessings will come to me.
I know there were some wild numbers thrown out there.
Yeah.
What can you say about that? What's appropriate to say about that?
Yeah, well, what's appropriate to say about that is there is wild numbers. And I saw when I committed, there was wild numbers, and then when Jax committed 2 days later, there was some pretty wild numbers too. And I can tell you that Jax is not making what those rumors are, and I am not making what those rumors are. We wish we were, and Jax had a funny response. I forgot what he said, but they were saying like 6 million, 7 million, or whatever it was for him, and 6 or 7 for me, or whatever people were saying. Maybe 5 it was, but I think that it's cool. That's great. We're not football yet, but we're working in that way. So if I can keep making the sport a better place and a bigger place, and we can get to that spot, that's what I want to do. Again, I want to make this place wrestling a legitimate, worth your time, you can live off of the money that you're making type sport. And so we're working towards that. All of the offers that I got were very comparable from the top 7. And I know that the same goes for Jax. And we talked a lot about it. We probably know exactly what we were going through the whole time through the recruiting process, because we would call each other and just check in the whole time. But I can tell you that the people online are great. A lot of them support us, and then the people that are throwing these outrageous numbers are kind of funny, and we get a kick out of it. But it's definitely fun to go through that and trying to keep, put wrestling towards the top, and maybe someday we'll get to those numbers in our sport, but not right now.
And you're signed with an agency, right?
I am. I'm signed with MAG agency. They do a lot of fighters. They do a lot of high-level wrestlers. Gable Steveson works with them, and a couple others.
What do you do outside of wrestling?
Yeah, well, I do a lot of things. My faith's really important to me. I like to travel. I'm a big Steelers fan, so we watch football. Big college football fan. I guess now I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan. But I used to just watch college football. But the Steelers are my team for the NFL. But maybe I'll start being Iowa fan. I'm going to have to start following their recruiting, everything. So that'll be fun to do. But yeah, we really like to watch football. I've got 2 of my best friends live in my house, right, with my brothers. So I'm hanging out with them, competing with them and everything that I do. And so it's been really fun. I do a lot of that type of stuff outside the room, and I'm in the gym a lot too if I'm not wrestling, working out or posting online. So a lot of fun stuff like that, and then trying to really get into my faith and doing Bible studies, and as much as I can spending time in prayer and with the Lord.
The new Iowa Hawkeye room, what do you think about that?
That was intriguing, right? That was a big part of the recruiting process, and being able to see that. I mean, that's state of the art. I can't even explain it. It looks cool online on the pictures and stuff, but once I got there, I was like, wow, like this is even more impressive than I thought it was. And yeah, it blew my mind. I think it's amazing. I think it's going to be huge once I get there to be able to use that type of stuff and all the resources that are there. Really fired up about that. Connects right to the arena, Carver Hawkeye Arena. Doesn't get better than that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I asked Owen about it, and I was like, do you mind that there's no windows?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
Yes, there's no windows in the gym I'm in now. There
Yeah.
is at McCourt. There is not at the compound. We train primarily at the compound. I'd be used to it. It's not a big deal, and we'll have to go outside and get our sun.
Can you talk about your teammate Owen and how you guys are going to be teammates in college?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Owen's been one of my best friends since 2nd grade. He moved to my school in 2nd grade. We've been training, working together since then, and he's the man. Owen's one of my guys, and when he committed to Iowa, that was pretty important because to have someone like that there, it'll be a little bit easier to transition, and to be able to do it with him and do it together, I think it'll be awesome. We'll spend a lot of time together. He's been working really hard. He's the man. He's getting back from his injury, so he's going to have an awesome freestyle season, and then back for both of our senior years next year, and then transition to Iowa. Really excited to have him there. His parents, his whole family is awesome, and they're great friends of our family, and so really excited to do this with Big O.
Sweet.
Well, now Hawkeye O is what I call him. That's his new nickname.
Yeah, you have states coming up after this tournament. What are you looking forward to in the summer?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot. I have a lot of big opportunities. Whether it happens or not is God's plan, so I'm really excited to just keep doing my part, working hard. This summer, I'll have the U.S. Open. It's kind of the big one right after states. And then after that, depending on what happens there, kind of decides a lot on what happens in May, and then what happens in May decides a lot on what happens in June. But I had the opportunity to make 3 world teams this year, and I'm gonna go after all 3 of them. U20, U23, and senior.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Favorite food? Pizza.
Okay.
Pizza.
How often do you eat that?
More than you think. More than you think. I try to eat really healthy, but if I don't eat healthy, it's probably pizza. So, yeah. Pizza, and then I love candy, like gummy candy, Sour Patch Kids, Airheads, stuff like that. Yeah.
What would you tell a wrestler that's struggling and looks at you as inspiration?
Yeah.
What would you tell that person who's struggling?
Probably 2 things right now. Work hard, right? Find your love for the sport. When you love wrestling, the sky's the limit because you're going to put the work in that it takes for that, and then trust God. And so that's finding the Lord, putting Him in the center of your life, and trusting His plan. And I think that win, lose, or draw, I know that it's His plan. So I am proud of myself always and joyful in the fact that I get to have the opportunity to do this.
Sweet. I got 2 more questions.
Yeah.
MMA. Do you plan on doing that?
I think so. I think it's in the plans. It could definitely happen. Big possibility for sure. I'm not going to confirm like, hey, like that's 100%, and I'm not going to say it's not happening. So I would say it's a big option, and just really excited to go to a place like Iowa that has kind of a lot of hype around that. And I think that Bo Nickal doing amazing things right now, being a kind of, I know a lot of wrestlers have fought, but right now he's doing really well, and he's kind of showing the UFC world that wrestlers are ready to go right out of college. He basically made a transition into there and it's dominating guys that have been fighting their whole life. So it's pretty cool to see that, and I think it's definitely a big possibility.
Favorite fighter?
Favorite fighter? Well, I'll give it to Bo Nickal. He's a great person too. I've trained in the Penn State room a lot growing up, so he was always a big mentor and inspiration for me. So I would say him. I would say Sterling, and then Makhachev. I love all the Russian fighters, so they're awesome. And probably Merab.
Last question. What does wrestling mean to you?
Wrestling to me, well, actually, wrestling to me used to be my life. Used to be. Until I found God, and then God became my life, and so now it's just what I do. But wrestling to me, I love this. I love every single day waking up and working hard and doing things that others aren't willing to do. Wrestling to me is the greatest sport in the world because it's one-on-one, and what you put into it is what you get out of it. And when you put in the work, you're going to have success. And so it's a really humbling sport, really tough place at times, but you just got to keep pounding the stone, as they say, and chopping wood and carrying water. Wrestling to me is just what I do. It's not who I am, and just really excited to keep steady on this journey.
That's awesome. Well, Bo, I could talk with you forever, but do you have anything else?
No, just appreciate it. I'm really excited to go to Wrestletown, USA, and to all the Hawks fans out there. I'm excited. It's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a journey, and I hope you guys are getting fired up because I am, and I'm gonna work my butt off and give you guys a show every single time I wrestle, and achieve as many goals as I can. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yep. Thank you.